Hello and welcome to the Slingshot channel. Today we're going to build a slingshot, but not just any slingshot. We're going to use the cheapest wood that you could possibly imagine. It's this piece of wood that they use to supply this blowgun tube. It's just a high quality aluminum tube. So this is like the cheapest wood that you can possibly imagine. So you see it's really cheap. And it was free. It was just a part of the aluminum tube so that it wouldn't bend. But of course it's not easy to make a very powerful slingshot because we don't want to make a weak slingshot. We're going to make a very powerful slingshot that I will be testing with the strongest bands that I can draw. And those are quite substantial. And I'll show you how, because we need to beat the weakness of the wood, which is a really soft wood that splinters easily. So first we will saw out the shape of the slingshot, and you can notice that I'm trying to use the entire width of the board to make the fork as wide as possible with this limited frame here. So we begin by sawing this out and then we will continue from there. So this is basically the slingshot fork. This handle, of course, is not yet a handle. This is just the part that goes into the handle that we will make extra, just because we don't have the depth for a comfortable grip, and you need a comfortable grip if you want to make a powerful slingshot. Now, if you notice, if you look at the grain of the wood here, I'm not sure if you can see this well, to make a slingshot from this piece alone would be very dangerous because it would splinter very easily along these lines here, just because that's the fiber direction of it. So it would be very sturdy. Like this piece would almost be impossible to break, but these here would break off really easily. So what we do is exactly the trick that you do when you make plywood. You've just sawed another piece, but turned upside down, so sideways. And then we will glue these together to make a really, really solid slingshot frame. So we now have two matching pieces, and as you see, this would break very easily along these lines and this along the length lines, but if we glue these together they will stabilize each other and we'll have a fine, really good slingshot. While the glue sets, we will do the same with the handle. So this is the shape of the handle, and of course it is a little bit too long for using the same thing like this in this way, but we will definitely saw it out and then turn it around as much as we can and saw out a matching piece so that we also benefit from the strength. It won't be quite as powerful as the fork, but it doesn't have to be because the handle is a lot more massive and there's not as much strain on it anyway. So let's go ahead. So this is one of my most favorite handle shapes because it gives you all the right, traction where you need it. Here, between the thumb and the index finger, and also down here. So when this comes under strain, this allows you to hold on to it really hard. So as you can see, the grain direction is completely different on these two pieces. So the glue has set, and now you see what an awesome, strong compound this makes. Really, really strong. And you can clearly see that the grain pattern is completely different. So they will be supporting each other. Now gluing these two parts together. Now they form one nice piece. and you can clearly see how different the grain direction is. Now this is now a little bit thick, so we will actually flatten it down a little bit. The same goes for the handle, which is also too thick in this state, so even rounding will not make it slim enough for a comfortable grip. So we have to slice off a part. And now comes the moment where we are actually marrying the two pieces. As you see, I'm cutting out a slot so that we could put in the fork this way. So this is how we can put the two pieces together, so that in the end you hold it like this. And you see the fork is really low over your hand. There's not much space wasted. Now it's important to not save on the glue. We need lots of glue, and we need to let the glue set firmly. So the glue has set now, and it is a functional slingshot, but of course it's still very edgy. Now we have to file everything flush and then start the rounding process. So that's the slingshot so far. The shape is now set, and I can assure you it feels really great in the hand, super comfortable. It's going to be a really nice slingshot, looking forward to shooting it. Now comes a little bit of sanding and oiling, and then it's basically ready to be banded up. Okay, I think it looks rather fine now after sanding 60 grit. And I will now apply a little bit of linseed oil. I'm actually cracking open a brand new bottle because my old one was getting a little bit rancid. So linseed oil will give it some additional grain. I mean, the grain will pop more. And since this is softwood, it will soak it up very greedily. So this is the finished slingshot. Of course I could now keep sanding it, and it would actually look a little bit shiny. It would never be completely shiny because the wood is simply not dense enough for this. But this is a working line slingshot. So actually we want it to be a little bit rough, since it then gives you a little bit better purchase in the hand. I think it's time to bend it up, and I will bend it up with 3 bands per side, so really powerful, and let it shoot really hard. So it's now all banded up, and as you see, it's 3 bands per side. That's really powerful. Note that I'm always putting a little bit of rubber between the frame, between the wood and the rubber bands, simply because the linseed oil kind of reacts with the bands. So especially when they're pressed against it with the power of the thin rubber bands. So that's why I always put some relaxed rubber in between, because then they will last a lot longer. And it's now very powerful. To test it, I'll stretch it out without a ball. And of course, I'm not drawing towards my face, because should it break off, I'm just getting a little bit of wood against my arm, and that's not so bad. Okay. Okay. All right, a little more. Yeah. This is now fully stretched out. Wow. Okay, here we are with my cheap wood slingshot, triple bands, and of course heavy bands require heavy ammo. So I brought some 1-inch steel balls and some, I think, 22mm lead balls, weighing almost exactly the same. And we're going to shoot it against this really thick 1-inch MDF or ODF board. not sure how it's called in English, which is not likely to go through, but we will compare the dents. Lead takes the lead. All right. Note that when I'm drawing out, I'm not drawing towards my face. I'm drawing sideways, a little bit higher than my chest. So this is the safest way, since this is no joke, folks. Bonk. And now the steel. That's one heavy steel ball. Bonk. Comes right back to me. I got it. I knew it had to give up at some point. But the Slingshot is still in perfect condition, and so are the bands. It's just its owner who is a little bit exhausted. That was a good workout. Those were many hits for sure. And this is where it crashed through. If you look at it from the other side, yeah, you can see the multiple shots weakened it, and here it's almost also cracked through. And this is a thick board. I mean, my thumb is substantial, but see. So I am actually rather pleased with this Slingshot. I think it's a really good Slingshot. It feels completely comfortable in the hand. I could make it looking a little bit more beautiful, but I think it's just talks business, and that is beauty in itself. What do you think? Should I polish this and add color and something? Let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I hope you like this, because that's it for today. Thanks and yeah. Bye bye.